Hello.
Hi, welcome in. I'm Amber.
Hayden. Nice to
Nice to
meet
meet you. So what brings you in today?
Oh, we're just, I just got a family started and got my own business going, and we're just really looking to start approaching a plan as far as, retirement, paying for her college.
Mm-hmm.
My wife just got a new car. We still have loans out for the equipment, all those types of things. So we're just looking for a general plan, a general thing to head in that direction.
A lot of life happening right now, huh?
Yep. It's really great though. I mean, our daughter she's fantastic. We thought something was wrong with her in the first 5 months because she never cried. We went to the doctor and we said, "Is she supposed to be crying?" And they're
Nope,
just like,
y'all are
"Well,
just lucky."
you're just lucky." So it's been nice.
How old is she?
She's 8 months now.
Okay. So y'all are still in the beginning.
Yep, we're still in the beginning. She's starting.
Long nights.
She is learning how to get attention.
Yeah.
There's actually something's wrong cry,
Mm-hmm.
and then there's a hey mommy pick me up cry.
She's turning into a girl already.
Oh yeah.
So tell me more about your wife. What does she do for a living?
She came out of college she came out of high school and she immediately went to school to be a dental assistant.
Okay.
Took her about 6 months, finished dental assistant, and then she went to work. And they start off at about $18,000 a year, and as a dental assistant, you're probably going to max out somewhere around $25,000 a year. And then she could also, they have the option after you've been a dental assistant for a while, you can go to practitioner school.
Okay.
And then you can make better money there, but you have to have a 2-year college degree.
Mm-hmm.
She just had a child, that might be kind of tough. So what we're really looking for is, we're hoping that since I have my own business, what we would like to do is have her come in and just help me with the business and bring the baby. That's what she's been doing lately. She just brings the baby to the shop all day.
Yeah.
She stays there and works, and we kind of did a little bit of figuring on our own and found that if she were to go back to work, it would almost be like she was working to pay for childcare.
Okay.
It would almost be like all that money was going towards childcare. So we would really like her to be a stay-at-home mother.
Yeah. So has she gone back to work yet, or is she still at home with the baby?
No, she's still at home. I don't think she's planning on going back.
Okay. She's betting on that business with you. So tell me more about your business. What is your salary like? Tell me about everything.
So right now, what we're doing is, it's a print company.
Okay.
And we can print, signs for real estate. We can do small signs, big signs. We can do coasters for companies. We can print menus. But what we really specialize in is vehicle wraps.
Okay.
And we have, a good relationship with some gentlemen in the oil field down here in Lubbock, and those oil field guys, they buy new trucks, every 5 months, and they come in and have them wrapped. So we wrap trucks, and then they also bring in like the actual oil tankers, and we can make really good money off that. And then we also do trailer wraps, and those are probably the most lucrative, because a trailer it's all about surface area, because we're really charging for the material. The material is expensive, so the more surface area you have, the more profit you're going to get. So you don't have a whole lot of surface area on things like vehicles and signs, but if somebody brings in a giant flat trailer, then we can make some good income there. So I would say in this first year, we're still people are starting to get to know us. We have been getting a lot more business than we were in the beginning. We just moved into a bigger shop. But I would say I'm planning on pulling in over $40,000 this first year.
Okay. So you said this is your first year of business?
Yes.
How many people do you have working for you?
Oh, it's just me. Just me and the wife.
Yep. Got a lot on your hands there. Do you plan on adding more people to the business? When do you think you're going to do that?
Honestly, we don't know. That's kind of like part of the reason that we came in to make a plan, is we were hoping to find out like how long it's going to take us to build up that income to the point that we can start hiring people and be able to afford that.
Where do you think that point is for you? What's a good number in your head? Just that.
What we would like is about the time that Dylan, my daughter, starts school. That would be about the time that we would like to start hiring people. So that way, if she has a softball game or dance recital, something like that the boss can leave and leave things to the employees while we go be a part of her activities.
So you have more of a time frame rather than a number that you want to reach. It's kind of we have 2 years to reach this, and this
Right.
is the number that we need to get at.
Right.
Okay.
Exactly.
So, how many people do you think you're going to hire at that time? Is it just going to be one person to take over you and you're busy with Dylan, or?
I think in the beginning, judging from how I've been working so far, I can really take care of a lot of it on my own.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I have 15 projects going at the same time. You just have to tell people that, hey, I'm busy, so if you want it done here, then you're just going to have to give me the time. A lot of the times we get people that come in from the bigger print shops in Lubbock, like, I forget the name. I think it's just graphics design, and they're one of the biggest print shops in Lubbock, but a lot of the times they don't take time on their projects.
Mm-hmm.
They're kind of just like an in, out, let's get as much profit as we can. And we're really getting a lot of business from those people because even though I may take a little bit longer, I do it the right way.
You're doing it how they want.
Right.
That's good. Okay, so let's talk about what your goals are after this. So you're going to hire that one person to kind of help out when Dylan gets into school, but after that, do we want to look into retirement, or how about saving for Dylan's education, or what are your goals?
We would like to save for Dylan's education as soon as possible. I remember whenever I was a kid, like the number one present that we got every Christmas from our grandparents was money into the college fund. Like that was the main thing, and our parents always instilled in us how important education is, how many doors that's going to open for you, and it's really something that we would like to get started sooner than later. And with me, my parents, it wasn't really an option. Being in Lubbock, Texas, they said, we have Texas Tech right here in the center of town. You're going to get huge discounts because you live here. Like, that's where you're going. We plan on approaching the same thing with Dylan. I think some kids tend to think, like, oh, I'm really smart. I need to go to UT, or I think Texas Tech is a great university, and I've met geniuses whenever I was at Texas Tech, so I really think that we're going to approach it in that same way. So instead of being a ridiculous, $60,000, $70,000 that we need, I think it would be more around in the $35,000 to $40,000 range.
That's a much nicer number to
hear.
It
is. Yes, it is.
Tell me more about your wife. Is she debt free from college? Did her parents also fund for her to go to
she didn't go to college, and she actually was able to pay for herself in that training that she was doing.
Okay.
They were giving her pay. So essentially that paid off her training. So she doesn't have any debt. The only debt that we're looking at right now is the equipment. And then I also, we bought her a vehicle because I have a pickup and that's not the safest thing for a child. So we bought her a very safe vehicle. And it was about $35,000. So those are the only two major debts that we're looking at here.
How much debt do you have in the equipment?
The equipment, it was a $40,000 loan, and we've already paid off $3,000.
Okay.
And it's a long-term loan, so it's not something that we need to knock off like immediately.
Okay.
But and it also kind of helps with taxes and things like that. But we would like to have it at least in 15 years, probably have that equipment paid off at some point. If we start to hire new people, maybe we need 2 printing machines running at the same time, so we may have to approach that. But right now, it's really not a huge worry. We think we have the money to pay off those debts in a reasonable amount of time.
And that car, too, is that something that y'all are not in a rush to get rid of? That
Yeah,
debt? Y'all are just kind of...
we're the type of family that we're going to drive a car till it breaks down.
Yeah.
So we're not going to be jumping in one car and out the other. We're going to try and take care of that one. I would like her to drive that vehicle for 15, 20 years if she can. So.
Do y'all plan on having any more kids? Has that been a topic of discussion?
She says no right now because she's adjusting to the mom
the baby.
So I think she's really terrified of it at the moment. She's very busy. She doesn't get a lot of sleep.
Okay.
But I would say, judging on our family, I grew up with 3 brothers and sisters. She had a bunch of brothers and sisters. It tends to be, when you grow up with brothers and sisters, you tend to have your child have brothers and sisters. So I would say that it's a possibility, but it's not necessarily something that we're throwing into the plan at the moment.
Okay, well that's cool. So that will be something that we have to factor into those unknown kids, college savings and whatnot. Let's backtrack. Tell me more about your siblings, and are you financially responsible for any of them for any reason, or your parents or grandparents or anything like that?
No, we were actually, we were very blessed to have first of all, my parents are geniuses.
Mm-hmm.
My dad's an architect. My mom's an electrical engineer. She actually finished in 4 years, which is almost
Wow.
unheard of in
Yeah.
electrical engineering. It did take my dad 5, but architecture is one of the hardest programs at Texas Tech.
Did they both attend Tech?
Yes, they are both from a place called Coahoma, Texas,
Okay.
which is just outside of Big Spring. It's about a 2-hour drive. That's where my entire family, other than our family, is. And then they both moved down to Texas Tech. He actually went through the phone book and just started. He looked up architecture, flipped through the phone book, called people until he got an answer. And it wasn't until he got to the S's that he got an interview with this man named Ed Stiles. And he started working for Ed as soon as he got into college, and he's been working there for 25 years now. He's a partner. The company is now Stiles, Wallace and Associates. And at first he was doing, small stuff. He was doing bank remodels, and I don't know if you've ever seen those stops on the side of the road, like those rest areas and things. He was doing stuff like that. And then he built up quite a bit of credibility over all the years, and he also had his partner who has been in the business for 40 plus years now. And so he carries a lot of credibility. And now he's building high schools and gyms and football fields, and and he thinks that now that he's got that stuff under his belt, it's going to be that much easier for him to get more projects.
Yeah.
And my mother, she was an electrical engineer for 10 years. And then as soon as she had me, she said, I'm done. She had my older brother, my older sister, and then she had me. And then she was done. So.
Y'all are pretty set.
Yep.
And all your siblings, do they have kids, or are any of them where you're going to have to take care of them one day kind of situation?
No, so far I'm the first one to have a child. Even though I'm the third child, they just, kind of been bouncing in and out of relationships. They're just not. It was always something, I would say, compared to them, I'm more of a simple man.
Okay.
I just always looked at get married, get a family, like as soon as possible. They like to travel, they like to experience different types of things. So they're a little bit more open-minded, I guess you could say, but they're very intelligent. They take care of themselves with their money. My parents are always there to help us out if we need it. They don't want us moving back home, but if you need a little bit of help, say, you get into a sticky medical situation, something like that, we always have our parents there kind of as a backdrop. I only have one grandparent left.
Okay.
And she is very well taken care of. She got remarried to a man who is, he's just amazing. He owns his own company. He's about to sell it. They're going to retire, travel together. She's healthy. She doesn't have any problems so far. Right now, it looks like she's going to live to be 150 years old. So we don't have any problems with as far as taking care of anybody.
You referred to yourself as a simple man. Would you consider your wife that way too, or is she more of the type that wants to buy nice things very often? Or?
No, she's actually the one that's telling me to spend less money. I'll buy something on my Xbox or whatnot, and she'll catch it on the bank statement and give me a little slap on the wrist. But yeah, I think she's the same way. She just wants a family. She just wants to raise the family and go about it in a normal way. She loves Lubbock. That's another thing about my older siblings was, we have to get out of Lubbock. We have to get out of Lubbock. We were perfectly fine with staying here. We want to have the kids close to their grandparents. I think that would be perfect. So,
Well, I think it's really awesome that y'all are both on the same page. I think that'll kind of make things a lot easier from here on out. And, there will be no, I want a new car, those kind of conversations. But I kind of want to get a look at like what you imagine you and your wife's retirement to look like. Kind of, you just talked about your grandparents. They're traveling. Is that something that y'all would want to do?
I think we look at our retirement a lot as the way that my dad is kind of looking at it. And he has he has a business of his own, and he decided to buy about 5 acres of land, build basically his dream house on that 5 acres, and he's been adding stuff to it ever since. He built a pool, built a couple shops that he can work on vehicles in. He rebuilt, he learned how to drive in a 66 Chevrolet with his dad. And about 25, 30 years later, his dad passed away, and then he said, I want to find that truck. And he went and found the truck and completely rebuilt it, and now he owns that vehicle. So really, I'd like to approach it in that way. Just find maybe a hobby, something like golf or, rebuilding trucks. I mean, I love vehicles just as much as he does. I
Hmm.
don't know as much about it as he does, but I really do enjoy it. So I wouldn't say that retirement is going to take a ridiculous amount of income. I think we really just want to be comfortable.
Okay.
We want to have a house that all of the grandkids and stuff can always come to and have a good time. That honestly, that's where I think our retirement lies in, is having that home, that place where our grandkids are going to want to come and spend time. Like I want to go to grandma and grandpa's. Like that. That's really what we want our retirement to be.
Let's talk about that age that you think it's going to be. Do you think it's going to be more of a you're going to still own the business but kind of let off and let other people take over, or is it going to be you're completely going to sell the business, or what does that look like to you?
See, I don't know a whole lot about that.
Okay.
I'm not sure if it's more profitable to just overall sell a business, or I don't know if it's maybe safer to keep that business going, just stay a little bit involved.
Hmm.
As far as I think about it, um, it seems to me that it could be kind of risky to not sell it if I have a good number. Because let's say that, maybe I'm the main reason that this company is doing good.
Hmm.
Maybe the main guy that I hired finds a better job.
Okay.
Maybe he gets better pay somewhere, and then my company starts to lose value. And instead of selling it at that high number, by choosing to keep it and just have a continuous income, that income could drop off significantly based on how my workers are doing.
Hmm.
So I'm not really sure about how I want to approach that.
Well, that can be definitely something that we look into when that time gets closer and looking at that number. And if that number is appealing to you and you don't want to take that risk, then that is your choice. Let's talk about that whole risk tolerance thing. Do you think you are one to risk more to get more, or kind of off on the easier side, don't want to risk a lot, kind of some payoff?
I would say that both my wife and I are.
Y'all are both all on the same page.
We are on the same page. It's great. I think we're both slightly above medium risk.
Okay.
I was the type to race motorcycles and, ride roller coasters and all that type of
You
stuff.
want to risk your life, not your money.
But I just, I have that general, it's kind of almost a thrill for me,
Mhm.
having an investment that I know could significantly like increase the quality
Yeah.
of my life. But I would like to have, those higher risks investments, but I also want to have a backdrop, something to fall back on
Okay.
if those investments were to not work out. I want to have a good safety net.
Yeah. Do you think investing your money in something is that sounds appealing to save up for your kids' education or a retirement or just any kind of saving that y'all want to do?
Right. Yeah, it does. It sounds very appealing to me.
Okay.
I think that's the best way to go about it. Whenever I talk to my dad about finances, I always ask him, what was your plan whenever you had children and stuff? And he said, my plan was to go to work every day. I mean,
Yeah.
I didn't have anything else. And I said, well, what if you were to look back? Is there any way that you would want to do that differently?
Hmm.
And he always told me, I wish I got a financial planner at the age of 25.
Yeah.
He's like, if I could have put that I had $10,000 extra dollars at the end of every year, but I would spend it on motorcycles and TVs.
For you to race.
Right. And he said he would tell me that, if he could take that $10,000 at the end of every year and he was investing that at the time that he was 25, he'd have millions of dollars by now. And I kind of took that as a learning experience, something that kind of he had to learn the hard way, but I would like to, learn from his mistakes. So I'd like to start investing early.
Roughly, what do you think that number is that you would have at the end of the year that y'all could invest in? Do you think that's something that could happen now, or is it going to have to wait for a little while until the business gets up and going?
Yeah, I think it might have to wait for a little while. I think right now, most of the money, I mean, pretty much all the money that I make goes straight back into the business.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm really looking at something. I'm really looking into the future here, and I'm really depending on this business. But it's doing great.
Yeah.
I'm booked all the time. I never have time for taking on new clients, which is a good thing because in my type of industry, if you don't have clients, then you're not making money. So right now, all that money is just being poured back into the business. But at some point, I think we're going to start taking that revenue and put it into something else.
What is paying for y'all's monthly expenses right now? Is that savings, credit cards, or is it the little bit y'all do have left over from the business?
It's basically we just take we have our monthly expenses and stuff figured out pretty well. I would say that we're more financially educated than most of the people that we
Make
meet.
my job easy.
Right. So we kind of know like some of the benchmarks. We know that you're supposed to save about 10% of what you make and things like that. So we're really looking into that. And honestly, we're just trying to we get the mortgage paid. We pay for Dylan's health insurance. We pay for our own health insurance, car payments, and then the rest of it goes back into the business.
Okay.
So the monthly payments of
The
general lifestyle,
necessities,
those do come first before
Okay.
we put money back into the business.
That's awesome. Well, I really, I'm going to give you some homework for next time. I would like you to bring in those financial statements for me of all those monthly expenses. I know you said that y'all are really financially educated, but I would like to take a glance at them too. And, we can look at when would be a good time to start investing, and we can play around with some numbers to see when that time would kind of come around for you and your wife to invest for retirement or for Dylan's education or any of that kind of stuff. So I would like for you to bring that in your next time in, and we can play around with those numbers and kind of get a timeline going. Does that sound good?
Yeah, sounds great.
Awesome. Thank
you.
you.
Oh, God, I hope they're still going. Yeah, it was.